can't go around not respecting people because you are an
sanguine.
extrovert or a sanguine. So you need to know where to draw the line. You need to know where the balance comes in between you being at the workplace and you being you. And that doesn't mean that you should not be authentic.
Welcome back. Of course, it's Feel Good Friday, and you're all lawyers, eh? We love to have a good time, but also have great conversations. And this is as far as just life is concerned. On lifestyle, absolutely yes. But of course, today we want to shift a little bit, which I think is similar. It's more or less the same thing. And of course, today we want to focus on workplace etiquette. And of course, we all know, I mean, workplace is just in general, workplace, okay? So whether you are, a CEO of your own business, of course, you have like employees here and there. What do you expect them, or how do you expect them to behave in terms of professionalism, observing ethics, and also morals, okay? So that is the discussion of the day today. You want to be part of that conversation as well.
Let us know what are some of the tips that you have that could add on to you acting professionally, and especially even when you have your own business, how can you do so? And of course, we have a very beautiful guest, and she's my namesake, by the way. Yeah, she's my namesake.
Wanjiru. Okay. Now everybody's like, Aziza is called. Yeah, she is. Wanjiru Kariuki, corporate trainer and image consultant. Thank you very much for coming by today. We were having such an amazing conversation before we came on air. And like you said, your target is mainly millennials. Okay. And I like that. Because you know how millennials, they think they know everything. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just millennials.
Kidding. Yeah, you think you know everything.
And
no.
also Generation Z.
Yeah, this one's. Yeah, this generation. Yeah. But anyway, and it's really, really good, that you focus on this generation, millennials and Generation Z as well. And I just want to start by why?
Well, it's because for ethics and etiquette, there's no written place of how, or there's no even a school that people can attend and you're taught how to behave at the workplace, or you're taught how to, you're supposed to deal with people. So that is why I found it's very important for me to focus on millennials, because we are a generation that needs direction.
Absolutely.
We think we know it all.
No, we don't.
we think we have it all covered, but at the workplace, there's some ethics, there's some etiquette that we need to apply. They're not taught at schools, but that's why I'm coming in to teach you about them.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. As in school, you need to work hard. You need to go after your dreams. You need to pursue your purpose. And then you're like, fine. So I work so hard. I get myself, a job, secure a really good job. And then nimefika hapo, don't even know what to do. Don't even know how to dress.
Exactly.
Don't even know how to address people.
Exactly, because the thing is, good manners, good etiquette can open doors for you, which education cannot. Qualifications you went in and got from the university or college cannot. So manners is actually being all-rounded. Yes, you have the qualifications, but what mannerisms? How are you supposed to act for you to get these opportunities, for you to be promoted? Yes.
My question is then, how do you differentiate between manners, you do this, and being me? You know how sometimes, even when you go like to a new workplace, or you just interact with people, people will always tell you, you need to be yourself.
Exactly.
Me being myself might be, I like to sit on the table.
Yes. I understand.
So how do you,
I understand. And this comes with different personalities. Like we have the sanguines, we have extroverted sanguines, we have the cholerics, we have, and all these people have different, personalities. For the sanguines, they're very loud, they're very happy people, they're very, they're extroverted. And for this personality, you can't tame them.
No.
But you see, when it comes to the workplace, you cannot, you have to balance. You have to create a balance between being the extrovert you are and also applying the etiquette at the workplace or even at the business place. Because you can't go around not respecting people because you are an extrovert or a sanguine. So you need to know where to draw the line. You need to know where the balance comes in between you being at the workplace and you being you. And that doesn't mean that you should not be authentic.
Has been really enthusiastic, is really excited, has applied for a job and gotten that job offer, but the person just has the education aspect of it. business is very much educated, very much qualified, and very passionate about what they're going to do. But they're just not aware of, okay, this is my first job. How am I going to handle it? What should I wear? What does it entail? I want to ensure that everyone at my workplace is very pleased with me. How do I do so? What are the proper ideals or tips that we can give to someone like that?
All right, before you even get that job, there's the interview part.
Yes.
Where that is the place that you create the first impression. So before you attend an interview, how will you appear in the interview? Will you just appear when you're dressed up in a manner that does not show you're serious? Well, we have really, like, things have changed. And we no longer go for the traditional gray and black suits. Offices have started to, you know, embrace the smart casual. And so it's up to you to know which organization am I going to. How do they dress, first of all? How do they dress? And how will I appear for this interview? For the role that I'm applying for, how are they going to take me seriously? Will they take me seriously when I dress in a suit? Will they take me seriously when I walk in a jeans? Because it can be an IT firm. You see? So it's up to you, first of all, to prepare and know, do your research and know this company requires this and this from me. And so even the way I present myself, and the first impression is about how you dress. The first 7 seconds when they meet you, they'll already have judged you based on how you dressed. So even for that interview, you have to be prepared, and that is how you dress. Before now you talk, and they know what you have. All right. So that aside, apart from dressing, not only in the interview, but even at the workplace, are you going to be showing up in, you know, transparent clothes as a lady, and, you know, you're distracting every man's attention, you know? Are you going to be, you know, are you going to be wearing tops that are showing your cleavage, or, you know, you're wearing... It's up to you to know which is the right
organization are you in.
The organization you're in, and also there's some general etiquette that should apply. Everybody should dress decently. If it's the length of your skirt, it should be up to this. It should be maybe an inch higher than your knees, or even knee length. If it's for the gentleman, are you supposed to tuck in your shirt? Are you supposed to go in with the jeans? What kind of shoes? Are you going to show up with sports shoes at the workplace? So you need to know these things, because there's a way that you're going to show up and people will respect you. There's a way that you'll show up and people will wonder.
People look at you and be like, okay. So I have a question based on that. So fine. And different places have different work ethics. And we'll talk about the whole aspect of ethics and, you know, and ethical behavior, all those things. But for now, so you said, fine, show up, dress decently, do all those things, okay? So people will do that for the first 1 week, 2 weeks, as they observe what happens in the company. And then 3 weeks later, someone just for the first time with, like, dressed very well, decently, nice dress, maybe a nice coat for gentlemen, tucked, you know, shirt, others with suits, etc. And then 3 weeks later, this company people wear jeans and sandals and all those things. Then they somewhat get absorbed into the system, and then they start dressing that way. Is that a problem, or that is you just getting into the system and going with the flow?
There's the part of you getting into the system, but you also should observe, what system am I getting into? Because when you go at the workplace, it's all about personal branding. Why are you going to that office at the first place? Are you seeking for a promotion? Are you seeking to be at the same level since you came in until, you know, 5 years later? So it's up to you to brand yourself in a way that even when these promotions come, they're going
the first person
to be considered, because they're going to be looking at you and see, this one does not comply to what everyone else is doing. This one is unique. The way they're dressing, the way they're talking, the way they treat other people. It's in a mannerism that entail professionalism, you know? And sets them apart. So it's up to you. Be authentic. Know why you're going to that office. No, are you going to just remain in the same position? So for your own personal brand, then you should be able to apply the right etiquette and not, you know, be swayed away by what you found, the culture that you found there.
The culture. And sometimes people might stigmatize you, you know, in the workplace, because they say, huyu anataka kujipendekeza, this one, you know, they're trying to be different, they're trying to be this, you know. So sometimes it gets to you, in as much as, yes, you know what you want, you know, to achieve in that workplace, whether it's a new business that you've started, you are the CEO, you're trying to behave in a certain way, and then the people come, maybe find you, or maybe you're the first employee in that business, right? And then, so some people come and actually find you, and then they're like, "Do you? Anapenda kujifanya," you know, they pretend to be this kind of people, so that they get, you know, the favors and get all this and all that. So it gets to you sometimes. You're like, you know what? Fine, let me just chill a little bit, tone it down.
No, well, I said about authenticity, and being authentic is about being true to who you are and yourself. So I don't think really you should listen to what other people are telling you when you know your goals, when you know why you're in that place in the first place. So actually, these other people, I think you should sit them down and teach them office etiquette. You know. You should teach them the right way. Like you should not, they should not be there to sway you down. They should actually look at you and view you differently and admire to be like you. Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. But at the end of the day, you find in a workplace, for you to achieve or accomplish things effectively, you obviously need to learn how to work together with people, how to practice proper teamwork. How important is it an aspect of etiquette, and how important is it to push the company's goals and perspectives further?
Yes, it is an aspect of etiquette, because this is where you apply your emotional intelligence. I'm not saying because now you're applying the etiquette that you're supposed to be this serious person who does not listen to others.
Don't talk to no one.
Yes, you're a no-nonsense. No.
I come to the office,
I should be able to look at you, Faiza, and know, oh, this is how she is, and this is how I should relate with her. This is how I don't step on her shoes. This is how I don't hurt her feelings. So that is where you apply your emotional intelligence and know that she's a sanguine, she's a choleric, and this is how I'm supposed to deal with her. And emotional etiquette, emotional intelligence is part of office etiquette. You get? So you should know how to treat people. You should know where the boundaries. You get? You should respect people's spaces. And also you should be a warm person. That's where the positive attitude comes in. You should apply your positive attitude. You should not be this gloomy person who walks head down, frowning and looking seriously, you know. So you should be able to apply emotional intelligence and know this is how I'm going to respect people, this is how I'm going to treat people. Yes.
And what about the people who, especially when you go to a workplace and let's say you're a very conserved person, like maybe you're not, as I stated, I'm speaking for now the generation, the microwave generation, who maybe now this is your first job and you're not the very outgoing person, you're very shy and conserved, and I know you deal a lot when it comes to public speaking and that, and its importance. What role does it play in ensuring that you are fitting into the system effectively, and what are some of the tips that you can use from public speaking to ensure that you're coming out of the box?
All right. For that, you see, this is where the different personalities comes in. And even all organizations, most offices, like they know they're dealing with different personalities. And so they have different guidelines and different for different people, all right? So if you don't want people to come into your space because you want to keep to yourself, because you're choleric, then that's where now as an individual, you should know how to respect people's spaces. And also know the boundaries. Know the boundaries. This is up to this point. This is where I'm supposed to interact with you, and this is how I'm supposed to interact with you. And in that way, you will feel respected, and I'll gain your respect as a person. So it should not just be applied by certain personalities with different everybody, because also you as an introverted person, you need to know that you are now in an organization. Sometimes you'll need to step up.
Oh yes.
Or maybe when you're pitching an idea.
Exactly.
Or you need to lead a team, you know.
And you know, you can even join a club. There's so many, like the Toastmasters. They help you gain confidence when you're talking to people in front of people. So if you're introverted and you want to gain confidence, maybe in public speaking, those are places you can consider joining. You can consider, you know, consulting an expert, because there's so many who are helping people out there to be confident. I'm an image consultant, and as much as I don't assist you just in dressing, I also assist you to, you know, to be able to be confident, you know, and talk in a way that, you know, can influence people. So you can seek the help of an expert. Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who say, listen, I'm very awkward with people. You know, I just don't, and it's not because they do not want people to come to their space. Sometimes it's just fine, you come into my space and then what? You know, like,
know.
how do I just don't know how to behave around a big number of people, or even if it's like 5, I just don't know what to do, how to behave, how to conduct myself in a way that doesn't seem ignorant, or stay away out of me, my space and all those things. So some people, it's like, I just don't know how. But like you said, seek help. You can learn as well.
Exactly.
Take a day at a time. Approach people one by one.
And
talk
also
to them,
online,
and then see
there's so many
what can
online
do.
courses. And like the internet nowadays, everybody can access it. So go to YouTube, go and Google how to be confident. How do I start speaking in public? How do I gain, how will I be able to gain these skills? So if you cannot be able to afford an expert, then you can even go online and see
and learn some of those
and
things,
learn something from that. Because we live in a world where information nowadays is too much and it's free. So you cannot afford to say to me, I can't be able to communicate. So for that meeting, boss, I pass it. No, you have to see ways of how you can improve those skills, which is public speaking and also being confident. Because no one was born confident. Even for people like us who stand in front of people and talk, it's not that. Even minutes before I came here, I was telling her I'm feeling a bit anxious. But it's natural. You're human.
It is.
Inhuman. But you need to know how to deal with it. When I go in front of people, do I need to breathe hard for me to gain that confidence? Do I need to use icebreakers? You need to learn all those tips and skills.
And maybe for somebody who has tried out their first job and unfortunately has not been able to, maybe, I didn't know, I wasn't an early morning person. And I just, for one reason or another, I couldn't come in early, or there's certain mistakes I made that made me lose my job, and I want to move on, because at the end of the day, it's not the end of the road. So I want to move on and correct all those mistakes that once maybe proper work etiquette and move to my next job. So how can I then shift gears and practice all I need to practice to be better for the next job?
Okay, all right. So first of all, punctuality is actually one big aspect of professional etiquette. Because when you respect people's time, they also respect yours. And it's a way of showing that you respect other people and also their work. So first of all, as an individual, you need to sit down. Ujiiteka mkutano. Ujiulize, why am I getting late in the first place? Is it that I don't wake up early? Do I need to set my alarm early? What do I need? Do I need to sleep early? What am I doing that is not making me, be an early person? So you need to really know what is it that is hindering you from
getting to work on time.
And
listen,
from maybe
people say we're Africans, we never keep. We're Kenyans.
We're Kenyans, but you see, it will make you lose your job.
That's true. You remember those something that was circulating on social media where a typical Kenyan mentality, umechelewa, right? And then you get to the office and you're kwani mulilala?
Tumefika mapema and you're the one who's late. That's the culture. That's the culture, but it should not, because at the end of the day, you're looking at setting yourself aside, being different, being a brand that can be trusted, that people can rely on. So there's no way I'm going to rely on you if we're having a meeting at 8 and you're there showing up an hour later or minutes early.
I always give myself an hour, and it messes me up all the time. I know if I'm supposed to be somewhere at 10. So I'll tell myself, so fine, I need 1 hour to prepare. So I wake up at 8 and then make sure I have 1 hour to prepare, and then leave the house by 9 and then thinking that I'll get there by 10. But then things happen along the way.
There's so much traffic.
Exactly. I think that was my resolution this year, because last year I never used to keep time, but I gave myself a challenge that, you know what, this is costing me a lot. So I need to ensure that every time I'm given an opportunity, what makes me fail, what makes me fail to reach on time.
And also personality, does it have like a thing? Because we were speaking to like some counselors some time back, I think during the show, one of the episodes, and they said, listen, personality types. For instance, the sanguines, we cannot keep time. It doesn't matter.
You cannot, but it's up to you to know your weaknesses.
Exactly.
And if you know your weakness, if you know I'm going to wake up, I'm supposed to be somewhere maybe at 9, then don't wake up at 7.
Oh.
Wake up at 6.
I used to make that mistake.
You don't wake up at 7 because you know you'll wake up, you'll pick your phone, start looking at
that's
social
the-
media, and then preparation takes
time.
another 1.5. By the time you leave the house,
the
you're already
time.
late.
Yes.
And you know, as you said, not being punctual used to cost you opportunity.
Yeah.
It does.
It does cost you.
And
it's
it
true.
does
It's
also
true.
cost you trust. People don't trust you.
Yeah.
You won't be a credible person. So why would you just sit down and say, I'm a sanguine, so we get
we
late.
never keep time.
So,
Yeah.
so you need to know I'm a sanguine
And
and
I
I
need
need
to
to work
keep
on my
time.
time, all right? So that, you know, you need to respect other people.
Other people's time.
Punctuality, I've said it's not about you, but it's
Yeah.
about other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we
and-
need to shift our mindset in terms
Yes.
of we're Kenyans, we never keep time. No. There's some
Yes.
people who value their time, so
Yes.
keep time.
Exactly.
And respecting other people's time, like you said, is one of the most important thing as far as workplace etiquette,
is concerned. Yes.
So we've also talked about dressing, which I think is like very, very important. And like you said,
Yes.
understand first
And
of
you
all
know,
the environment.
dressing
you know?
it could be the outfits you've put together,
yes.
your outfits, and you look smart.
Yeah.
But how are you smelling?
Oh.
How are you smelling?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Because
That's a big one.
yes, you need to consider also
Other
your
people.
grooming.
Yeah.
Unaoga aje asubuhi? Unasugua makwapa?
There's a people who say,
Yes.
see me in shower at night. I just wake
Yeah.
up in the morning,
You
wash
need
my
to
face and then go.
You need to carefully
No.
like shower properly.
Yeah.
And also like use a deodorant. They're not
Please.
expensive. You know?
Please.
And
Yes.
I'm not talking about expensive fragrances. I'm talking
No.
about an affordable
No.
fragrance which you can apply. And after applying, because you can have a fragrance, but I'm not comfortable
Oh, true.
when I get near you.
Ooh, yes.
So you should look into what
Consider, yeah.
you should consider other people. Are they having headaches? Are they having, you know, do they get
Sinuses,
nausea?
you know,
Do they
yes.
have, you know, allergies? So you need to consider what kind of fragrance am I going to put on so that it doesn't affect everybody in the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's some people who just step in and you'll just
I
hear that
know,
trail
you want to
of-
get out.
the trail of the perfume, you know, when they go somewhere they leave it. That should not be the
Yeah,
case unless
no.
it's smelling very heavenly, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's when you get a pass.
Yes, but
yeah.
it should something to keep you fresh and all day long. And you know, for people when they're getting near you, when your boss is trying to pass you a report,
Yeah.
they're not passing you when they're, you know. And also brush your teeth,
Please.
and is brushing your teeth and is brushing your teeth properly.
Yeah.
You know, you should
Yes.
properly brush
Brush your
with the right
teeth.
toothbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also ensure that you rinse your mouth. Yes, use a lot of water and keep on drinking water so that you can maintain a
yes.
fresh
Hydration. Yeah,
breath.
hydration. I
And
like
I know
Alright.
there are a lot of young people who are
Yes.
watching the show
Yes.
and they're like, oh my God, all of those
That
things you're
sounds
talking
so
about
hard.
Yes.
sounds so familiar and I didn't know I was doing
Exactly.
it wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really want to know more. So what are
Yes.
some of the mistakes that maybe we make during or at our workplaces
Yes.
that maybe we might not be aware of?
Yes.
Like there are certain things you're talking about and I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I need to pay
Perfume.
attention to this.
Yes.
My perfume might be
Yeah.
affecting
Yes.
other people or
Exactly.
whatnot. So what are some of the other mistakes that maybe we might not be aware of and
Oh,
we do
yes.
make in a workplace and maybe cost us a bit?
All right. So in terms of grooming, as we've said, the things like ladies, just dress decently. Dress decently. It doesn't cost you anything. And even gentlemen, yeah? Usikuje na viatu zinanuka, you know? You know, like... You know,
Okay.
just observe basic grooming.
Yes.
For ladies, yes, we know you want to slay, but usikuje na makucha stilettos, ziko hivi, you know, all colored and all.
Yeah.
In the workplace,
Yeah.
make them short and,
Yeah.
and do light colors, you know. Go for colors that are not distracting.
Somewhat neutral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even when you should put makeup on, because makeup is meant to enhance you, but don't overdo it.
You know, when you talk about makeup, people will be like, listen,
Yes.
do I have to? There's some people who
Yes,
never
yes,
tried
yes,
makeup.
yes.
You have to.
Let me tell you, you don't have to if you don't
Oh,
feel
okay.
comfortable, but it goes a long way
Yeah.
in improving your image. You know, there's a way you'll be attractive. You
Yeah.
look like you look put together.
Yeah.
You know, as compared to when you just show up and you're just flat. you know, like,
looking
yeah,
at you.
you're just a kawa person. Make that effort to do a bit of makeup because it will accentuate your best features. You know, when you smile, that positive, it's a way of feeling good also. You feel good about yourself. You feel confident. You
But
walk
what if I feel
confidently.
confident in my natural skin? Like, hashtag team natural. There's some people who are like that, who are like, listen, I love my natural skin. I try as much as possible and take care of my
There's
skin.
nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with that.
nothing wrong
You know,
with
because when
that.
you talk about makeup, people will be like, Jesus, now what is happening here?
And that's why
No,
there's a
but-
line, there's a balance
yes.
between there's the right makeup. And that's why I'm saying you can't go overdoing makeup.
Yeah.
It has to be neutral. Your lip color, your eye color, whatever it is that it should be neutral. It should not be distractive.
Yeah.
And if there's somebody who feels comfortable without makeup, well
Absolutely
and good.
okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
As long as you also
Alright.
look put together. Because there's a way, mtu anaweza sema, I'm team natural, but you don't comb your hair because you're team natural.
I know.
You know, there's some people who will put their hair in a certain way just because, like, oh, me, I'm a natural, I embrace being natural, you know, but it doesn't work.
Yeah,
You
don't
really
try,
need to look
strike a
put
balance
together.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
yes.
So we talked about you know, ethics a little bit, but of course we also had the president talking about ethics as well.
Yes.
That is work ethics. So can we just take a look at that clip and then we'll be right back with more as far as then ethic and unethical behaviors,
Yes.
you know, around workplaces that we should avoid. Take a look.
We are no longer going to tolerate in our country unethical people. If you have been given responsibility, you need to understand that that responsibility is a responsibility to serve and not to be served. And ethics is not about being given positions of authority like these girls behind me, but it is how they use that position of authority. Do they use that position of authority to enhance their own prestige in school, or do they use that position of authority to enhance the welfare of those that they lead? And that is where it starts. That's where it starts.
All right, very powerful words over there by President Uhuru Kenyatta. It's not about being given the position, it's how you use, you know, the position. This is as far as, you know, of authority is concerned, you know, talking about leadership. And we'll focus on the aspect of leadership a little bit later because, listen, during my research, they said, listen, leadership is important because you set a standard for the people who work, you know, after you, okay? So if you behave in a certain way, it's very easy for people to do what? To actually emulate, you know? So how then do you set a very good example to the people who work for you or who work under you to ensure that then the workplace or the work environment is not safe, but it's good for everyone, you know, so that they don't feel you are behaving this way, but yet you're demanding this, you know, from us. How do you then ensure that you are the best leader in terms of, you know, not demanding, you know, respect and all those things, but you earn it, and it makes it easier for people to work, who work, you know, with you and around you, or even under you, actually very easy for them to emulate. But for now, let's stick, you know, as far as then the etiquette, right? In terms of that, so we've talked about dressing, we've talked about how you conduct yourself, prepare, all those things. Can we talk about communication? And this is both verbal and non-verbal communication.
Yes. Communication is another very powerful aspect when it comes to etiquette, because that's the only means of how information is conveyed in at the workplace. So whether it's written, whether it's verbal, whether it's non-verbal, you should really like be deliberate on how you do it. All right. And one thing is that as a leader, you've talked about a leadership, and being a leader, you should be able to respect both your peers, the people who you're in the same leadership with, and also those people that you're leading, those people that you're influencing. Just because you're a leader, you don't need to, you know, like thumb your chest and like, you guys need to worship me when I walk. Have you ever seen those managers or leaders who walk in, and if you were doing something, it's you know, because they've already instilled a lot of fear in you. They command power, not in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because I believe a leader should be somebody who is approachable.
Yes.
And so as a leader, it's up to you to set that pace. No, I have a group of people, I have a team of people that I'm influencing. And so I need to be approachable. I need to be somebody they can always look into, they
Up
can
to,
look,
yeah.
yes. So they should not fear you. You should be an approachable person.
Yeah.
And when it comes to communication as a leader, you should make sure that you respect anyone. Just because you've met the watchman at the gate, because you're a leader, you're not supposed to talk to them in a disrespectful way, okay? So you should respect other people, respect everybody equally. Don't be that leader who favor others and others are left. So as a leader, you're supposed to be the person setting the pace.
The pace for the
Yes.
yeah, for the workplace.
Exactly.
Where do you strike? I mean, where do you then? I mean, where do you mark the boundary? Okay,
Yes.
because there's that aspect of being approachable.
Yes.
That then people end up disrespecting you because they know, see that one, I
can
can
walk
just,
away
you
with
know,
anything.
I can do whatever I want. I
Exactly.
can say whatever I want around them. So where do you strike the balance in terms of, yes, this is, I am the leader.
Yes.
I want to be approachable. I want people to not fear me.
Exactly.
But people can approach me at any time. They can talk about whatever they feel, you know, they need to talk about, and like we can work very well.
Exactly.
And getting to that point of people respect you, you know, as a leader, and then vice versa.
So as a leader, we said you should actually apply a lot of IQ, that is emotional intelligence. Exactly. And one other aspect that you can really, it's being firm. Because as a leader, one quality that you need to have is be firm. Don't say this today and say that
Yeah,
tomorrow.
something else
People won't
tomorrow.
respect you.
True.
And that's why they're coming to step into your boundaries, because you're not firm. Maybe you're being fair to some people and you're not being fair to others. So why should I respect you? So that's why I'll come stepping on you as a leader. But as a leader, you're supposed to be very firm and also apply a lot of IQ in everything that you do, so that people can know this leader stands for this.
Yeah.
And in that way, they will not have a space where now you're having a place of disrespect, where boundaries are being, you know,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and of course there's so many, there are different systems when it comes
Yes.
to a company or even an organization
Yes.
or a business, so literally anything that,
Yes.
that requires professional work ethic.
Exactly.
And we've talked about the bottom-top type of communication. How
Yeah.
then do even the employees communicate in a way that is at the same time professional and
yeah, and
respectful,
respectful.
to their bosses and at the same time to themselves, so that
Yes.
I'm trying to communicate something, but it doesn't come out that way.
Yeah.
And I just didn't mean it.
All right. So communication is all about, you know, listening to the needs of others, and through that, being deliberate in dealing with their feelings. You get, like, I as a person needs to know if I'm talking to Pfizer, and this is how I'm communicating to them, how will it affect their feelings? So I need to know your needs before I even talk to you. So I need to know how you're going, maybe to interpret what I'm telling you. And that's where IQ comes in very handy. So as an individual, you really need to be deliberate about minding other people's feelings. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's about really knowing, if I did this to her, how would she take it?
Yeah.
How will they interpret it?
Yeah.
Will it be interpreted in the right way? So it's up to you to consider all these things and also consider people's feelings at the end of the day. Yes.
On that note, in terms of, there's some people who will tell you, listen, me, I'm blunt.
Yes.
And that is just me.
Take it or leave it.
Personality.
Yeah, like I am
Yes.
just blunt. I
Yes.
can't help it. I
Yes.
don't know how to sugarcoat
Coat.
because I'm considering your feelings.
Yes.
I'll just say it.
Yes.
So it's up to you to somewhat determine whether you take it in a wrong way or you take it in a positive way.
Yes.
And sometimes people tend to avoid such people because they're like, hey, that one stay away, that one stay away, you
Yes.
know? So it makes it difficult then for them to actually communicate because they say, when I say something, people take it the wrong way. And I do
Yes.
not want to be in conflict
With
you know,
other
with other
people.
people.
So with that comes with you knowing your strengths and weaknesses. You knowing if maybe if they tell me something, if any information is conveyed to me, I actually get so hot-tempered.
Yes.
And after that, the way I'll handle things, you know. So it's up to you knowing I'm blunt. Me, nasemanga tu venye iko. They hate me or
Say
they
it as
love
it
me.
is.
So you need to know maybe that's your, it's actually a strength and a weakness, at the
weakness
same time.
You're
So you
right.
have to be considerate. Yes, I'm being blunt, I'm being authentic, being me.
Authentic me, yeah.
So, but I have to communicate this. How will I communicate it in a way that it doesn't hurt her feelings? So you really have to be deliberate. You have to be intentional. It's not about you just talking and, you know, like, me, I don't care. They need to know me. I'm
This
like
is
this.
me.
They can handle me. No. And that's why we're saying you need to be intentional. So before you communicate, maybe you're in HR and you're about to break news. Somebody's not working well, and you know, so you can just can't tell them, you know, we are firing you today. You know, you need to be intentional. Know how you'll handle that situation in a way that it will actually build the other person. And we have people who convey like positive criticism very well.
Oh yes.
And others who do it in a way that it will kill you. It will make you feel so weak. So it's up to you to be intentional and deliberate about how you communicate to others, despite your personality. So you actually need to know your personality, know your weaknesses, know your strengths, and know with this information, then this is how I'm going to be handling things moving way forward.
And I think that's very important, but there's a very important aspect as well when it comes to now ethics. We've spoken about now your etiquette and how you deal with people, but there's what's right and what's wrong, and what determines what's right and what's wrong, especially in a workplace situation, or how you even deal externally with other people in the world of business, because it can be internal, but at the same time, there are people who are partners. Let's say I work in the business area, and I just don't have employees. I have people that I have to have meetings with meetings with every single time. There are people who give me business. So that's ethical behavior, because I recently had a friend who was telling me, yani nimefanya biashara na mtu, alafu amehepana pesa. So like, and that's business. So you need to work together for you to be able to bring yours, bring mine, and let's be able to make this business work. So what is ethics, first of all, in a work situation, and what makes things right, and what determines things to be wrong?
All right. So most organizations or most offices, they actually have written guidelines. Of how people are supposed to conduct themselves. So that in itself will guide you as an employee on how you will deal with your fellow colleagues at work, and also your partners, because this being a business, of course, you'll be interacting with customers, partners. So most of the organization actually have set guidelines of how you're supposed to handle things. So that aside, again, it also has a lot to do with you. And as an individual. So look into how, if these are our partners, like just apply your personal etiquette. Just because I've been invited for a meeting by a certain partner, a certain customer, how am I going to, is it a phone conversation? How am I going to handle it? If it's something I cannot handle, how am I going to hand it over to the person who can handle it? All right? Yes.
There's some people who, and I'm asking, is there like one rule of thumb when it comes to ethics and unethical behavior? You know, because I know different workplaces have their own ethics, their own way of how things go in this company and all. But do we have like that one rule? For instance, I mean, we all know sexual harassment.
And flirting in the office.
And flirting in the office and all those things. But then again, do we have others that are very gray? You know, where you don't know whether this is ethical, this is unethical, how do you go about it, and if it happens, who do you go to, you know, and all those things. Because, I mean, during my research, they were saying it actually starts with the leader, you know. So in terms of then ethics, because we've had a lot of, especially cases of sexual harassment in workplaces where it's actually the person at the top, and then you don't know what to do because you need that job, you know, at the end of the day. Do you report this person? Do you not? You know, so what's considered unethical behavior, especially in a workplace? And like we said, it's general, whether it's business, corporate, whatever.
You've said it. One of it is, you know, like flirting with your colleagues. You cannot go flirting with people. You're there to work, so you should respect people. You should respect people's spaces. You should not go, you know, the moment you start flirting with a colleague, already you lose respect for them. Exactly. And in this, we have situation where nowadays it's the leaders who are actually flirting with the junior people. So if you're in a situation where the boss is the one flirting with you and you feel this is, it's actually unethical. I think there are ways that you can actually try to solve that. The first thing you can do is maybe report it to the HR manager. Because HRs are the people who who work like as an intermediary between now the employees and their bosses. So you go and say, I have this and these grievances. I think so and so is you know, behaving this way towards me, and the HR from there will take it over. Yes, yes.
But people are scared mostly to report because why? Most of the time it's the boss who wins, you know?
Yes.
All the time it's the boss who wins. So people are like, even if I go and report, first of all, how do I report that my boss is harassing me? And two, maybe I do not have evidence, because most of the time you'd be asked to give evidence that this person has harassed you in one way or the other. You know? So what evidence do you have? And then something that might happen is you end up losing your job. You know, because it's weird. You know, you've reported your boss, you still have to come to work every day, you know?
The thing is, I think the thing is, when it comes to respect, when you respect yourself, you won't fear to go and report that somebody is harassing you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one suffering.
True.
At the end of the day, you're the one suffering. You might lose that job, but I would rather lose a job because I've stood firm to what I believe. I'm not supposed to flirt with my boss. Because the moment I entertain that and I say I won't report, I'm not the only one suffering. They'll go and hit on to another person.
True.
And you see, at the end of the day, that will be chaos in the office. It will be drama in the office, you get? So I think the best thing to do, as uncomfortable as it may be, and probably if I lost my job because somebody is trying to harass me sexually, then let me lose it, because I don't want to be a victim. So you need to stand firm to what you believe in, to the etiquette you believe in, and also to your values, because it has a lot to do with your values. You get? And also you'll be doing it, I don't want to say that you'll be the... You'll be this, like, when you do that, I'm sure even people will come in.
There's some people who actually come out and say,
I actually suffered
this way or that way.
So it's actually a good thing to do. You'll be setting a good pace to the rest who are suffering from what you're suffering from. So I don't think you should fear. As much as it's uncomfortable, yes, it's uncomfortable. You can even write an email if you feel like you don't want to face the HR. And you can also, first of all, talk to that person and tell them, you know what, I don't like it. Maybe the way you look at me, maybe the way you spank me when in the staircase or wherever it is, you know. Just tell them, I don't like it when you flirt with me. And if they don't do that, then communicate to the HR and tell them, I even communicated to him.
Or to her.
I communicated to her, and maybe I even told my line manager, but because it's still proceeding, then that's why I come to you.
And of course, for every single situation, there's always a cause. There are obviously factors that lead to that particular act, be it sexual harassment, as you stated it,
they are,
or many other unethical
like
behaviors. So what leads to
that?
What leads to that? Like people being unethical. You find at times it may not even be you. Like there are certain
most of the time it's not against you. Be like, they seduced me or they did this. You know.
So it all goes down to values. We've not been brought up the same way. All of us. You come from a different background, and you come from a different background, and so all these things factor into how we behave, how we conduct ourselves in the workplace. So to some people it might seem very normal to flirt with people, like wamezoea, that they don't have, you know, the people who don't have morals, they were not taught that.
That was harsh.
So
but it's true. It's true. Okay, let's just say there's some people who don't know boundaries.
They don't know boundaries.
And morals as well.
And morals as well. Because as I've said, we've been brought up from differently. So many things have shaped who we are. And so sometimes it takes these things to happen for you to realize, actually, these things should be taken seriously. People should be intentional about professional ethics, respecting others. It's not something that comes easy for everyone. You get, some people need to work really hard to respect others. Stories like favorism, you know, all those things are things that contribute to office conflict, and they're brought about by the way our values and the way we've been brought up. So you cannot pin it down that to one thing, but it's an aspect of things that,
a lot of things,
you know, shape you to being the way you are and the way you behave. So whatever may seem right to me might not be right to you.
And you've spoken about the aspect of conflict, and maybe there are other people who are just not I just can't deal with conflict. I just
Yes.
want to avoid conflict as
Yes.
much
As
as
possible.
possible.
Yes.
Where you're exposed to conflict and you're not really a person who deals well with that. Like, number one, how do you avoid the conflict in the
Exactly.
first
'Cause
place?
sometimes it will
And
just
when it
find
comes,
you.
how do you how do you let it subside, or how do you
handle
deal
it.
with it, or handle
Yeah.
it effectively
Yes.
to ensure that it's not affecting your
Performance,
work
you know,
and your
at work.
performance
Yeah.
generally,
Yes.
because it can be it can be too much pressure
Yes.
maybe for other people to handle. So how do you avoid the conflict?
Yeah.
And once it comes, how do you
Do you
handle it?
handle it? Yeah.
So first of all, you have to consider what has brought about this conflict. What were the boundaries that were broken for us to come about with this conflict? And if it's something that you can avoid prior to it happening, then you can avoid it. But if the conflict is already there and it's facing you, I think there are ways that you can solve it. First of all, depending with the situation, you can communicate with the person in conflict with. And like, let's sit down, let's see, where did we go wrong? What went wrong? How can we solve this? And if it's in a situation where you actually find it becoming more messy when you sit down, the two of you, then involve your manager, involve somebody who's senior, who can come and you know, try to solve the conflict. So conflicts do happen.
Yeah,
It's
they
a normal
happen
thing
all
in
the
the
time.
in the
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
And sometimes the resolving of it could be something that somebody else has to take care of, or you can amicably decide
talk
to
about
solve
it and and
Yes,
solve.
yes.
Okay, it depends.
It depends,
with
yes.
the person you're in conflict with,
Yes.
and
And
how
what the
they
conflict
approach- and
was.
what the conflict is all
It
about.
could be you're the one who actually
It's true.
it could be you're the one at fault.
Yeah.
So you need to go down and see, okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
learn to solve
Yes.
other issues.
Yes.
And something else that I think sometimes brings up conflict is office politics.
Yes.
And this is what, I mean, during Madisha, this is what they said,
Yes.
right? They said that office conflict, sometimes it is a way of someone climbing up the ladder.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And they said that the fact that you are in that office, of
Yes.
course, you might be, exposed to either office politics,
Yes.
you're the one maybe who starts it, or you
Yes.
find yourself,
Yes.
in the politics.
Yes.
So my question is, first of all, is there such thing that an office can survive without office politics?
Never.
No. office
Every
politics will
office,
always
it could be
there.
a minor politic
Yeah.
or conflict, but because we're human beings.
Oh, yes.
We're interacting. Even, let me just say, hata kwenyu nyumbani, when you're living with your brothers and sisters,
yes.
there's always conflict.
Yeah.
So conflicts can, okay, there's a way they can be avoided, but to some point they're healthy, as you've said. And that's why we have good conflict, good, office politics and
Yeah.
bad office politics.
Yeah.
If a politic or a conflict is leading to you, your team benefiting,
Yeah.
the organization rising, then it's a good.
But what if it's at the expense of other people? You
If
know
it's at the,
how-
no, it
Yeah.
should not be at the expense.
Exactly, because there's some people who want
Yes.
to climb up the ladder, but they
Yes.
want to sacrifice others so that they
Others.
climb, they climb up
No,
the
that
ladder.
that is not right, because
Yeah.
first of all, it shows you don't respect those
The other people.
the other people.
Yeah.
And if the conflict or politic is about you're actually trying to fight for everybody's right, not just your rights. It's not about you going the ladder or being promoted or getting the
Sacrifice
best.
Aziza.
Exactly. So if the conflict is about fighting for everybody's rights, everybody, equality, and all of us being at the same and good space, then well and good. But if it's about stabbing other people's back, if the conflict is about, gossiping people and making them look bad in the eyes of the bosses, then that is not
No.
healthy at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So yes, conflicts exist, but it's up to know how you can, make it to be positive instead of it being negative.
Negative, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
there's someone back at home asking, oh, so you mean there can be good office politics?
Yes.
So a bit expound a bit on that, and
Yeah.
how it can be
In
quite
1 minute, 'cause
quite
we literally
helpful
have
as we wrap up.
Yes, yes. We are talking about a conflict where probably as a leader, I'm trying to bring out grievances of my team people suffering or maybe something has not been looked into.
Yeah.
I'm trying to air that grievances, and maybe there's a person opposing, but I'm really trying
Pushing
to
for
fight
the
family
same.
to
Yeah.
push for the rights of those people. Then that's a positive office politics. As compared to where now these are the person who's opposing. They're opposing because they have their own interests at
Selfish
heart.
interest.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't want other people to benefit. So
Yeah.
they're trying to oppose that. No, that's on the other end
Yeah.
is negative politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe
Okay.
as we wrap up, you can give
Yes.
us some closing remarks.
Yeah,
Because
as far
we've
as just
spoken
proper work
about
etiquette
Yes.
is concerned.
So etiquette is very wide,
Yeah.
and it's up to us to be absolutely intentional and deliberate about how we treat others,
Yeah.
putting other people's needs first
Yeah.
before ours,
Our
all right?
needs, yeah.
So I will say what I started with. You see, a good mannerism, good etiquette, good behavior can open for you doors that a good education cannot.
Cannot.
All
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Yes.
We
So-
like that. And we have to end the show literally being chased out of the studio, but it has been such an amazing conversation. Wanjiru, thank you very much. Wanjiru Kariuki is a corporate trainer and image consultant. Thank you very much for making time for us. My name is Winnie Lubembe. On behalf of Aziza Hashim and the entire team who put together this show, we say thank you. God bless. And I'll see you in the next few minutes for Every News 1 p.m. But until then, stay safe. God bless. And also enjoy your weekend. Goodbye from now.